Lin Jie opened the door of the storeroom, and the fragrance of the book penetrated his nostrils. He grabbed a piece of ancient books and directly opened the top book. The cover of the Book of Wanfa was flashing with a strange light, and he murmured, "Why does this book light shine?" When he touched his finger, the symbol was like movable type and penetrated into his brain, and a heat squirted onto his arm. He put his book on and pushed towards the reading area. The light stretched out the shadow, and he sat down and flipped through the book page. "I just tried to change a little bit. Why do raindrops float up?" The voice fell, and a drop of water fell from the ceiling, stopping in the air. He widened his eyes and shouted, "Damn, is this true?" The air twists and the lights flash. He jumped up, put his book under his armpit, and pulled out of the library door. The streets were storms, the trees were flying in a mess, and the carriages were sliding non-stop. He swung his hand and turned the water droplets landed. "This power may bring danger." He gasped and leaned against the wall, glanced at the blurry black shadows far away, and his heart flashed. What is that thing? It's definitely a nuisance. His body stiffened and he ran away. Lin Jie rushed into the old park, gasping for breath in the air. He leaned against the old tree and complained in a low voice, "Oh my God, what kind of ghost thing is this? The black shadow chased me like a crazy person." Pull out the Wanfa book from the armpit, and slipped his fingers and flowed hotly straight into his upper arm. The park was silent in an instant, the birds' wings were swollen in the air, and the petals were spreading open. Lin Jie stared at the scene in front of him and thought to himself, "Can this book really take time? It's so exaggerated, I'll just touch it." "Do you think this is a game?" A cold female voice came out from the bench. Ilya walked from the tree, dressed simply, and her eyes were flashing. She said bluntly, "If you touch that book, you become a wizard editor. Every time you change something, it will lead to nothing." Lin Jie held the book tightly, his throat was dry and burning. "I have to learn to control it, otherwise everything will collapse." His brain flew quickly. "Okay, tell me clearly. What are those shadows? How big is the risk?" Ilya glanced at him. "The risk is huge, the backlash of laws will make you lose your vileness. The Shadowless is a monster that keeps order." She stepped forward. "Come on, try it. Use a pen to change the shadow and make it fragile." The cold suddenly sank, and a group of black shadows emerged from the corner, growling like a flute. Lin Jie held up the book. "Diet, come again." Ilya pushed him. "Hurry. Imagine it like paper." He stroked the book page with his fingers twisted and his edges scattered. Lin Jie's arms numb. "Wow, it's so hard to consume, I feel I can't hold it back." Ilya grabbed his sleeve and said, "Remember, the mission is to create stability, not a matter of trouble." As the faraway shouted, they ran away. Lin Jie was stunned. "This is so cumbersome, you have to understand it quickly, otherwise I will be done." Lin Jie and Ilya entered the back door of the antique shop, and the door slammed for 2 lights before stopping. Ilya immediately locked the door. "It's safe here, come to the back room." The back room is dim and covered with dusty antiques. Ilya took out the bait from her pocket and said, "Lin Jie, I will only change the small method this time. Remember, balance is the key, otherwise the backlash will swallow you." She passed the Book of Wanfa. Lin Jie grabbed the book and felt a warm palm. "Okay, let's start with this syringe." He turned on the book page and planned it with his pen tip. "Imagine it never goes out." The flames lit up. Ilya pointed. "Yes, that's right. I feel my arms are numb, as if I have drunk too much coffee." Lin Jie said, his eyes still staring at the book, "Why are you going to help me?" "Because we all bear secrets." She leaned on the ears. "If you continue, you will understand your mission." The front hall suddenly heard a low roar, as if the wind was blowing through the broken window. The shadow of nothingness drips from the door, and the shape is distorted. Lin Jie shouted, "Don't die, that thing again." Ilya grabbed the bell and sniffed. "Hurry, slow it down with the book." Lin Jie put up the book and wrote the page. "Imagine it is as soft as a wet paper." The black shadow staggered and the edges collapsed. He shouted, "Ilya, cover me." She kicked the air and slammed away. "Persevere, don't let it get close. The black shadow roared sharply and dissipated into a black fog. Lin Jie sat down on the wall. Oh my god, it's all done. They moved to a dense corner, the lights were faint. Ilya sat close to him. You performed well, but that's how it started. Lin Jie rubbed his arm and thought to himself, this book is not only dangerous, but also hidden the stimulation I have been looking for. Maybe it will make life less boring. He stared at the vague page of the book and murmured, the secret behind this may change everything, but it may bring greater danger. Lin Jie and Ilya slipped out from behind the antique shop, and the night swallowed the streets. They turned into the old park iron gate, the shadows of trees swayed under the faint road lights, and the air twisted like a sign of a rainstorm. This is the entrance. Ilya pulled his sleeve and pointed to a blurry group of lights and shadows ahead. Lin Jie, I heard it well. The Book of Wanfa is not something to play casually. Each law is connected to others, like a line. Changing one may bring down the entire network. Lin Jie held the book tightly, his palms slightly heated. I understand. How do you evaluate the risk? For example, these lights and shadows, he pointed to the floating energy fragments. Do they look like glass pieces, stable? Do you have to look at their connection points first, or measure strength? Yes, Ilya pointed. First observe the reactions around the weak. If these pieces shake too hard, they will be unstable and the changes will rebound. She passed the book. Try it, and trace it and slow them down. Lin Jie put up the book and planted on the page. Okay, pretend these are light bubble lines. I have to ensure that there is no short circuit. The energy fragments were slightly stable and a buzzing sound began. Old Rice emerged from the dark, and her dirty clothes were filled with cucumbers. Hey, newbies, he grinned. My name is Lao Mei. I've tried these shit before. You can tell that you're learning rules. Why are you here? Lin Jie asked, glanced at Ilya. Lao Mei, how much do you know about the risks here? It hurts so much. Lao Mei leaned against a floating stone. I tried to resurrect a person, and it turned out to bring more shadows. Remember, balance is the key, and you have to think about the price before changing the rules. Ilya pointed. He said it right. Lin Jie, where's your background? We need to know each other to cooperate. I'm the administrator of the library, Lin Jie said. The days are so boring, come and find excitement. Where are you, Lao Mei? What suggestions do you have? Suggestion? Don't rush to change your ultimate move. Lao Mei walked forward. Come on, I'll take you to the unstable belt. Let the darkness crawl first, don't let it grow. The three of them were stalking together, and Ilya opened the way. The cracks are deep, and the light and shadow are shattered, like the laser of a dance hall. The darkness began to spread, and Lao Mei shouted, hurry up, Lin Jie, use the book to calm the light and shadow. Lin Jie stared at the page and wrote it over. Let the light fix it, like a steady light bubble. The light and shadow were steady, and a roar sounded, and the shadow of the shadow appeared. Ilya grabbed the pieces and snatched over. Cover him. Lin Jie, hold on. Lao Mei kicked a piece of energy stone. Boy, don't change too much. The shadow retreated, and Lin Jie's arm stinged. Don't die, it feels like the current is emitting. Lin Jie gritted his teeth and thought excitedly, wow, it's successful, it's too exciting. They leaned against the wall gasping. Ilya suddenly browed. The origin of this book is weird, Lin Jie, don't you think? What do you mean? Lin Jie stared at her. Is there any secret? Confused in his heart, this woman's eyes are not right. What is she hiding? Lin Jie glanced at Ilya and held the Book of Wanfa. She's eyes were hiding, and she was hiding, he complained in his heart. The book is not simple and pure. They stepped onto the floating stones, diamonds into the depths of the cracked world, and the air was buzzing, like an out-of-control light show. Boy, remember, changing a method is like pulling a line. Lao Mei patted Lin Jie's shoulder. It's wrong, the whole network crashes. Look at the energy fragments, they sway like drunken ghosts. Check the movement points first. If the shadows dance along the weak, don't move. Lin Jie was nearly a piece of floating fragments, and his palms were hot. Lao Mei, what happened to your last failure? He held up the book and quickly swiped the page. Lao Mi grinned. I tried to adjust the gravity to make things float up, and as a result, a pile of darkness swallowed the surroundings. The teaching is to measure strength first and don't rush to do it. Ilya, what do you think of this book? Ilya looked at the fragments. This book is from the Slit World, Lin Jie. It is not a pure tool. Is your arm stinging? That means law is bending, it must be slow. She took a step forward and pushed a group of shadows. Come on, try to evaluate this point. Let's see what it connects first. Lin Jie touched the book page lightly. Okay, I'll come and calm it down. The energy wave was shaking, and he thought excitedly, wow, it feels like playing with a high-pressure wire. It explodes if you accidentally, but how successful it is. The fragments were fixed, and Lao Mi shouted, no, boy. But be careful, the darkness is crawling. Suddenly, the shadowless shadow splashed out from the spot, like a black fog swept towards them. Lao Mi grabbed the stone block and smashed it over. Press it with a book. Ilya, cover him up. Ilya pulled out a handful of flash fragments and swept towards the shadow. Lin Jie, concentrate. Stay calm at that spot. She flicked her side. Lao Mi, don't let it grow. A group of translucent spirits emerged from the shadows, and the sound and videos blew over. I guard here, but your existence may bring greater confusion. The spirit stopped in front of Lin Jie, and his body was twisted. Lin Jie widened his eyes. Who are you? Shadow? We are at the stable day, not for trouble. He quickly plotted the book page, and the energy waves calmed down, and the shadow of nothing disappeared. Lao Mi leaned against the stone wall gasping, boy, fortunately you haven't changed too much. Shadow, is this guy reliable? We just want to complete the mission. The shadow slammed slightly. I'll observe you. Lin Jie, your strength and book connection are too deep, which will cause more backlash. But now, the day is stable. They retreated to a quiet corner, with rune flashes hidden. Lin Jie's heart appeared in his heart. What is this rune? It feels like it will bring a lot of trouble again. Ilya squatted down and checked. It seems to have something to do with the shadow of nothing, Lin Jie. Your power of existence may be connected to them. Don't worry, we have to figure it out first. Lao Mi said in agreement. Yes, discuss it. Don't be that rushing next time, this rune hints at more risks. Lin Jie stared at the rune. Okay, I understand. But this is too complicated, but at least we are alive. They were silent for a moment, ready to leave, and the glimmer of the rune made people uneasy. Lin Jie stepped into the light curtain with one foot, feeling his body as if he was being thrown into a high-speed rotating washing machine, buzzing. Lao Mi and Ilya were pulled in, and the surrounding area was filled with floating energy crystals, like a group of crazy firecrackers. Lao Mi, the rules here will collapse as soon as you touch it, Ilya reminded in a low voice. Find a stable point first. Lao Mi patted Lin Jie's shoulder. Boy, don't be stunned. Look at the crystals, they will connect with others as soon as they move. Try poking your book and it feels like the current is blown away. Lin Jie grabbed the book of Wanfa and flipped the page to touch the nearest crystal. Okay, I'll come. The energy wave vibrated instantly, and a flash of excitement flashed in his heart. Wow, is this trick really effective? Ilya came over and said in a low voice, Lin Jie, I have to tell it clearly. She glanced at Lao Mi, who was busy checking other fragments. The last failure was not an accident. My dad was the former editor and left some secrets for me. But this corridor will retaliate against my blood. I took you to make it with your book. She bit her lip. Do you still believe me? Your dad? Damn, that's too fierce. Lin Jie pointed his head. Okay, I believe it. But I'll talk about it later, don't let me quarrel. Lao Mi laughed. Ha, boy, you calmed down that crystal. I feel it's not quarrel. Continue, don't stop. They moved forward, and the light and shadow intersected in the deep corridor, like a stage light flashing. A group of translucent spirits emerged from the energy area, and the sound was like wind blowing across the leaves. I am Aaron, the guardian of the former editor. I see your anxiety, but your pen can change everything. The book comes from the source of the crack world, and it will cause backlash. Eileen? Do you think I have 2 previous records of this book? Lin Jie held the book tightly and adjusted the nearby energy. Come on, join us and say the cable. Eri slammed her head slightly. Okay, I'll follow. But remember, the points in this corridor are all connected with nothing. Elia touched Lin Jie's arm. I have a secret, your strength can help you. We depend on you. Laomi shook her hand. Let's go. Look at the spot in front of her shaking. They rushed to the key point, and the shadow crawled over like a black fog. Be careful, independent operations will cause backlash, Laomi shouted. Let's hold on together. The shadow of the wizard turned to them. Lin Jie held the Book of Wanfa and plotted over the page. Damn it, come and fight. The energy wave burst out and the shadow group disappeared. Ilya pulled out a handful of flash fragments and smashed them at the shadow. Lin Jie, stay calm. Laomi, hit the left. Laomi grabbed the crystal and smashed it over. Boy, you're good at it. Don't let it go. The day was finally fixed, and they breathed and retreated. Lin Jie wiped his sweat. Do it. But he realized that there was a stronger backlash in the depths and was stupid. Aaron said in a low voice, this is the beginning, your book will bring a big crisis. They were silent and ready to move forward. Lin Jie led the team into the depths of the corridor. The energy area was quarreling, and the distorted light and images were biting by the dog, and the crystal debris exploded. The shadow of the silence came up, and the black fog shone straight into the ground and headed straight for them. These movies have come by. Laomi, hand them to me on the right. Lin Jie shouted, holding the Book of Wanfa with one hand and swiping the nearest shadow. Laomi rushed forward, grabbed Jinjing and threw it out. Boy, keep your peace. Ilya, please help me to press the left side. Ilya pointed at the head, pulled out the flash fragments and poked the shadow group. Okay, I'll come. But she moved, glanced at the depth of the shadow, and saw a silk silence in her eyes. Lin Jie glanced at him and complained in his heart, this woman has a weird look. Why don't she think of any wrong ideas, right? The shadow of nothing is pressing tighter, and the energy waves buzz and vibrate. Laomi shouted, Irene, can you press these things? We can't hold it back. Aaron's voice came lightly, I tried it, but they were crazy. Lin Jie, your book is the key, poke them. Lin Jie flipped through the book page, and pointed the tip of the pen to the nearest crystal. Eat me this. The light burst out, and the shadow group retreated for a few steps. Laomi laughed, fuck well. Keep pressing. After leaving, Ilya said to Ying in a low voice, I'll give you a trace. My blood is ahead. As soon as the words were spoken, the defense line collapsed and the Ying turned to Laomi. Laomi stared wide. Ilya, what are you fucking? Is it just for your blood to betray us? Laomi, no. Lin Jie rushed over, but it was too bad. Laomi was in front, and the crystal shattered and heard a sound. He was swallowed. Boy, remember, don't trust it too much. Laomi fell down. Lin Jie's chest tightened, thinking to himself, don't die, I have to bear it myself, this woman's true. The energy area was dark in an instant, and the air was as quiet as it was being pulled away. Lin Jie faced the core point alone, and his hand holding the book shook slightly. Aaron said, Lin Jie, you can write everything. Okay, come on. Lin Jie gritted his teeth, and planned the page with a pointed tip, and modified the rules. The energy wave calmed down and he gasped, this move is so tiring, and I feel my whole body numb. Looking at a hidden rune in the book, he was confused. Wow, does this rune have something to do with the shadow? What ghost thing is Elias' father hiding? He stood up straight and prepared for the next challenge. Lin Jie rushed into the deep corridor and grabbed hidden ancient books in his hands. Ilya, you betrayed us just for the dead blood? Laomi's death is not worth a penny. He shouted, his voice rumbling in the narrow passage, and the energy ripples swayed like water waves. The shadow of nothing came, and the black fog rushed into his arm. These shadow things are coming. Lin Jie plotted on ancient books and quickly modified the rules. The light burst out and the shadow retreated for a few steps, but he felt a pain in his arm. This thing has become stronger. Ilya must have done something wrong. The shadow stormed up again. Lin Jie hit in a flash. Open. He planned to pen again, and the energy wall rose and held the attack. In the darkness, Aaron's voice came. Lin Jie, don't chase Ellie again. She has strengthened these images. Strengthen? Mom. Lin Jie roared back, calming his body. The energy vortex is right in front of you, and the flash is shaking. He slammed over and Aaron appeared. I can help you with some pressure, but you have to quickly close the corridor. Okay, come on. Lin Jie gritted his teeth, plotted wildly on ancient books, and edited temporary laws. The vortex buzzed and vibrated, and the backlash wave directly hindered him. Aaron stretched out her hand, and the energy flow relieved his pain. Yuji, Lin Jie, the rune hints of the Yin beyond your imagination. Lin Jie glanced at her. How much do you know? Without waiting for the answer, he pressed it with all his might. Seal. The law was formed and the shadow was opened. The secret room opened smoothly. He walked in and stood firmly on the wall. I finally took a breath. He flipped through the ancient books, and the runes flashed, pointing to the things of Iria's father. Is this rune related to her dad? There is a big lord behind the betrayal. He thought in his mind, I have to figure it out, otherwise I will be done next time. During the interpretation, a hidden thread jumped out, suggesting Irene's true identity. Lin Jie held the ancient book tightly. Irene is the law correction officer? She shouldn't be the next threat, right? In the darkness, a premonition of a distorted memory came. Lin Jie stood in the middle of the secret room, and the shadow was squirming outside the door. He forced himself to stop thinking about Aaron's face. Escape first, don't let your brain get irritated. He rushed to the crumbling floor, and his shadowless roared, approaching like a wild beast's roar. Seal, he shouted, flipping through the ancient books, and a barrier suddenly lit up in the runes, opening the shadow. The backlash power rushed up, his vision was blurry, and he felt a flash of Aaron's smile. What's this woman doing? Focus on it. He rushed forward, and the roar behind the barrier became heavier and louder. A ray of light appeared at the entrance of the alleyway, and he fell out of the secret room, leaning against the moist wall and gasping. Eileen, you betrayed me and saved me. What kind of game is this? The raindrops floated in the air, reminding the law that it was out of control. You can't be softer anymore, you have to practice this ability. He clenched his fist, his energy jumped at his fingertips, trying to calm the rune. At the door of the antique shop, the lights are as flashing as the heartbeat. He pushed the door in, his voice sounded lightly. Old Bell, I'm in trouble. The old Bell raised his head and looked at it with his eyes. Boy, this rune has a new thread, about the secret of the Book of Wanfa. He passed through ancient books. If you dig deep, you will be very dangerous. Lin Jie slapped the rune and his heartbeat was beating. Damn, this hints about Ilya's blood? Where's the next trap? He realized that the betrayer might have approached. Lin Jie stared at the rune, his heartbeat missed. Old Bell, this rune is hidden deep. He went straight to Old Bell and grabbed the Book of Wanfa. The Old Bell lights up the lights, and the rune light is even more dazzling. Boy, don't stand stupidly and analyze it. He pointed across the line. Ilya's blood is the key, which will cause storms. Ilya's father is the former editor of law? Lin Jie shouted, pulling the book page. We must calm down, otherwise we will be completely finished. The Old Bell clicked, pressing a low voice. Yes, grab it. He read a string of runes, the air buzzed, and the shadow of the secret room was squirming. The wind rushed in from outside the door, and the lights were shaking. Don't die, it's storm. Lin Jie grabbed Lao Jing. Let's go out. Lao Jing opened the door. Boy, there is a war scene outside the ruins. Use your pen to modify the writing method. They rushed out of the antique shop, and the rain fell, and the wind was roaring in the ruins without a storm. Lin Jie thought to himself, oh no, this is really not the time. Ilya emerged from the dark, her clothes flying. Lin Jie, are you fucking? My father's secret has exploded. Her voice continued. Lin Jie held the pen tightly. Ilya, don't install it, join forces, otherwise you will be dead. He quickly plotted out the rune, and the time slowed down, and the raindrops floated. Help me stay calm. Ilya raised her hand and shot out the energy beam. Okay, I was going to hide the machine, but I didn't choose it. She rushed to Lin Jie. Father's ambition is too dangerous, let's calm down together. The shadow of nothingness came. Lin Jie's visual line was blurred, closed. He wrote a new rune. Ilya beat him. Lin Jie, stick to it. Why do you always strive for this? Her beam and penis intercourse, and the windstorm disappeared. They pushed toward the center of the whirlpool, and the air was heavy. Lin Jie was breathing. Ilya, this secret is our rescue. He turned his penis and wrote the balance of life and death method, and the vortex calmed down. Ilya grabbed his arm. Lin Jie, you want to sacrifice yourself, why? Lin Jie smiled and felt that the power was lost. The world needs balance, I will return to ordinary. The vortex disappeared, and the runes in the ruins flashed, and the hidden lights up.